Your end of it. Okay.
Yes.
Let's talk about your certifications because we mentioned them beforehand. You have two certifications. Two certifications that I probably would have tried to get myself, but the application process is such a pain in the butt. And
on purpose.
Yeah, I know. But the purpose of a certification is to assign those people who know what to do, to designate them. And if you're a freelance consultant like me, it's kind of difficult with all my different client projects to put a history line there together. But I'm a big supporter of program management and portfolio management. I think it's the future of project management because you can't perceive value unless there's some kind of receptor built into the system that if it's not connected. You have both the PgMP and the PfMP.
Yes,
what is your take on those two categories, program management and portfolio management? The reason I ask this is if you look at the PMBOK, it's constantly growing, although now they split it up to make it thinner again, but whatever.
For it.
Yeah.
8th edition coming up.
Yeah, okay. I hope the 8th edition is better than the last one. Just a comment on the side.
You'll see.
I'm looking forward to it. Did you participate in it? He can't say. So he could tell me, but he'd have to kill me afterwards. But one thing that keeps annoying me is if you look at the standard for program management, look at the standard for, it looks like a restaurant menu. It's about this thin. What's up with that?
It's getting better. I think it's still an overview. Yeah. So I've been involved as a reviewer of the last iteration of the program management standard. It's always a little bit of a trade-off, obviously. I think it has improved. Still, there are things, obviously, as well, with the overall timeline in the process that is quite extensive. You have to find some middle ground. And I've been involved multiple times. Instance, I've been as well on the writing team of the 6th edition PMBOK, for example, on communication and stakeholder management, by the way.
Good.
It's, I think, with the 6th edition, I was part of that 1 second. That became a doorstopper. That became a little bit too heavy on all purpose. The 7th edition, I think not everybody, a lot of people understand where they wanted to go, more principles-based, but I think the pendulum swung a little bit too much into the other direction. And
I think every PMBOK has provided some value. I think my only beef with the 7th edition is PMI rides, whether they believe it or not, PMI is only PMI because of the people that are involved with it.
Absolutely.
It's this old analogy, a hospital is not the facility, it's the people that work in it. Okay.
Well, I think they understand that one. That was my impression.
And I don't think there was any ill will, and I think I sense and empathize with what they were trying to do. And I must say that the PMBOK itself, the first couple chapters are much more fluid to read. They're conceptually, because one of the biggest problems with the PMBOK has always been it's been a bestseller in 12 or 14 different languages, but never really fun to read because it was iterative and lots of bullet points and stuff like that, but valuable if you knew how to read it or how to dissect it.
Selectively. But as a whole thing, that put you
So I think that the new PMBOK tried to do that, and I also understand how they kind of went to the project management life cycle because they felt that was more in tune with the workflow than dealing it with on individual chapters. But I think people are used to tradition to a certain extent. I think that's part of the change resistance. Also, and then from an educational perspective, it was. From a training perspective, I thought it was easier to train certain things if they were done in clusters. Okay, that doesn't mean that I think that the 7th is a fiasco. It's far from it. I think it was a valiant attempt. I'll be interested. When is the 8th one coming out?
In a few months. At the moment, in January. Okay. I'm not 100% sure if it has closed. The draft review period happened. I think it's not closed. I would need to double check that one. But essentially, what you can see in the draft review period is that I think the switch, the change that happened from 6th to 7th edition is basically taking back halfway, so that some middle ground between this, not to come back to.
Is it going back to one book, hopefully?
Yeah.
Okay. Are they including the Agile thing as well? Because there was that booklet. It was kind of like the stepchild.
If you read that one in the draft, yes.
Yeah.
Still, what you see as well in the comments, obviously, and if you look at LinkedIn, you find as well a number of threads on that one. You can never satisfy everyone.
No, you can't. It's a work in progress, and you've always got a trade-off.
There are the construction guys that go like, "Hey, you have forgotten about us. It's all." Well,
that's the death of the SIGs. Yeah, the special interest groups was a big
thing.
Then
the IT guys like, "Oh, you've gone to way too much into the construction side of things." That's the usual thing. Yeah. So you cannot make it fit 100% for everyone. That is understood. I think as well. What I've seen PMI over the last is try to get a little bit more to what specific types of project with, for example, which they've launched, I think now 1.5 years ago, give or take, the special certification for construction project management, this CP thing.
Yeah, there used to be that special interest group, which the PMI discontinued for some reason.
And so they're trying to do something around that one, acknowledging that there are certain types of project which indeed run a little bit different.
Are you familiar with Oliver Lehmann from Munich?
No, I'm not.
I'll have to introduce him to you. He's been on my podcast twice. Okay. He has an interesting take. He's an old Urgestein, as we say in German, an old icon of PMI and PMI thinking. Been around for a long, long time. Very smart guy. He has an interesting new take, something that we've always been aware of, but we've kind of ignored it. We always know that it's in the background, but we rarely address it. The big difference between internal and external projects. And he's actually trying to give it a vocabulary he calls external project, he calls it project business management, because it has a business case behind it, and it has a margin and all that kind of stuff. Is any of that in the new PMBOK as far as you know? Are there any other additions or topics?
Well, what they tried is what